Welcome, friends. Although our fall session started 2 weeks back, today is the real start of fall season. The fall begins from today, the day when day and night both are of equal duration, the September 22nd. So this day really inspires the spirit of equality. Day and night both are equal, heat and cold both are just the right. And so a good day to think of our true nature, which is again equal everywhere. Although our appearances differ, the inner reality is same for all. It is the appearances that deceive us and make us feel that sense of inequality looking at the appearances. But when you see the essence that is equal, same in everything, like the various waves rising on the ocean, they are not equal. Some are big, some are small, but after all they rise and fall. The ocean remains, which is equally present in all waves. So it inspires today's that being the day when day and night are equal. It inspires us to think of this equality, the one presence that appears as all different forms. And the topic that we are going to discuss today is of interest to everyone, at least the part of freedom. We all want freedom. We, right from the early childhood, we want to be free. We do not want to be governed or controlled by anybody else. That it is when we get the sense that somebody is controlling me, then we feel that no, I should get rid of this control. I want to be free from all control. Sometimes a person calls me and speaks about spouse and says he or she is so nice, very good, but controlling. And so doesn't want to be controlled. So how that can be removed? That it is a very important idea that not to get controlled. Even a little child does not want to be controlled, want to do whatever I want. You don't have to tell me. And it is a feeling that is, it remains with us. And so therefore it is interesting to see how we can realize this ideal of freedom. Why, first of all, we want to be free. In the midst of all these bondages that surround us, we try to transcend one bondage and fall into some other bondage. We want to, say there is financial bondage, and then you feel that no, if I get job, then I will get lot of money and my financial bondage will go away. Okay, maybe, but then you got into the bondage of your employer. You have to work as your employer tells you to. You may feel that no, then I won't be in the bondage of employer. I will start my own business. One of our friends said that no, I want to be free, so I will start my own business. So he started his own business and free. Okay, I don't have to now get bothered by my employer. Hey, why did you not come at this time? Why are you coming late and all that? But It soon was discovered that he is under the bondage of all his customers, that he has now that obligation, that bondage, because they won't pay you unless you do your job that they wanted from you. So this bondage we see everywhere. In all our actions, we feel that somebody is kind of propelling us to do that action. And yet there is that freedom, the spirit of freedom in us. So when we think, it appears that this is something that is going to be impossible. Although I have the desire to become free, in this world it is not possible. Maybe after death I will go to heaven and there I will have all freedom. But again, the idea of heaven also has that inequality. So the bondage continues as long as our idea of heaven has this duality, that I and the world. Then that world, the world may be very beautiful, a heavenly world where you don't feel any pain, but that other limits us. The world, something that is different from me, creates a limitation around me, that I am this much and not beyond. And that is again a bondage, not freedom. I want to be free from that as well. Where do we then be able to fulfill this tremendous urge for freedom? We see this in political field, economic field, and most importantly, we see that in our religious life. The origin of religions is like freedom. We want to be free, and so to look at the source where that freedom lies, we start looking at something which is free, and so that holding on to that ideal, we also will be able to become free. Swami Vivekananda has a series of lectures which were later published in the book titled Jnana Yoga. There, a very beautiful book, very inspiring, and very good analysis of what this world around is, where from our these aspirations and desires arise. One chapter in that is that how man turns towards religion. The first chapter of that is necessity of religion, and the second chapter is the real nature of man. And the theme of freedom gets initiated really in second chapter, that man looks around us, around him, and then sees that, look, I am bound, but these powers which suppress me, I have a lacuna of various things that I feel. That is a bondage. I feel the bondage of death. I feel that the tormentation of not having all that I want. So he imagines, thinks of a being, and since that being is not seen around him, he imagines that it is somebody beyond the clouds, and attributes all kind of freedom to that being, the God. The name is given then God. God who does not get affected by all the bondages that he has to suffer from. Like he is not affected by death. He is not affected by the change of seasons. He governs everything. Here, if they look at that primitive man, the winter, no protection from winter. So his God, he does not feel. He is Lord of winters, Lord of summers, Lord of rains, Lord of winds. Everything is governed by him. There is no bondage, no slavery for him. So that is one of the ideas of God. And our God is embodiment of what we really crave for. So our craving for freedom means our God is the free being. And so that becomes our ideal, that who is completely free. There is absolutely no bondage there. And then if we become like that, God and the worship of God is really following the ideal that we think of ourselves, for ourselves. And therefore, there Swami Vivekananda makes a wonderful statement that as it is said in the Bible, that God created man after his own image. He says, Swami Vivekananda says that, well, that is maybe true, but this is more true that man made God according to his own image. Whatever I seek, whatever I perceive as the goal, the ideal, what is best, that all is concentrated into this idea, this imagination about God. God is everything that I am seeking. And then comes the question that where is such a God? See, we think of something, and as we think of anything, that thing gets the reality in our thought world. It becomes real. It is when that thinking becomes more concentrated, that becomes a more concentrated reality. It is therefore told, a nice story is there about it, that one artist, a painter, was painting that picture of a very beautiful girl. And then as he was painting it, that thought of that person being real filled his heart so much that he fell in love with that girl. And then since he could not find that girl, he got so frustrated that he committed suicide. That because this girl, probably she doesn't want to see me, she runs away from me, I cannot find her. She became so real. Yes, that is how the ideas, they become very real. Nothing wrong actually in this. I don't mean suicide. It is, what I mean is that our ideas, they become real. Actually, what we consider as real, if we go back to that, we will see that they are really ideas. It is Humphrey Davy, Sir Humphrey Davy, who was experimenting with that nitrous oxide gas, what is called laughing gas, and it induces. It used to be used as an anesthetic. So this laughing gas, he suddenly in the laboratory inhaled a rather big dose of that due to some accident, and then he wrote about his experience at that time, that he saw that the whole world is just ideas. So the idea kind of becomes concentrated, and then you feel that it is real. So the idea about God, our idea about freedom becomes congealed into God, and then that we pursue that, and that God becomes real. And that is real in the sense that if we become free, then that ideal of freedom has been realized, that God has become real for us. And this then is the nature of reality. Then what happens when, as that ideal becomes real for us, we realize it as ourselves. I am that. That God whom I was worshipping, it is my ideal. And as I realize it, I reach that ideal. That yes, I have no bondage anymore. I have become all. Because then only you will have no bondage. It is therefore told in the Upanishads that as long as you perceive other, then that other will be controlling you. This is a very funny thing. See, we want to control others, but do not want to be controlled by others. We do not realize that the seed of bondage lies right there. That when you want to control somebody else, unconsciously you get under the control of that thing also. It is just to give a rather rough analogy, that look, if somebody is a jailer, and then there are prisoners, so those inmates, they are under the control of that jail officer. But now the jail officer cannot go away. He has to keep watch on them. So again, what has happened? He has come under the control of those inmates there. Those inmates, because he wants to control them, cannot go away. It is who is now controlling whom? It is very difficult to say who is controlling whom. They are both controlling each other. It is relative something. A lady takes a dog for a walk, and dog thinks that I am taking the lady for a walk. So, who takes whom for a walk? It is all relative. So, the bondage is like that. It is therefore, we can say that when the other vanishes, when you see yourself in everything, then you realize this truth, that you were always free. It is the limitations that you have put around you, they were keeping you under bondage. But when you see the truth that you are in everything, you are everywhere, now what is there to bind you? But you may say, well, this is an imagination. How am I in everything? That is where the sages come to our rescue, telling that what you perceive as a distinction between you and the world, that really is imagination. In truth, you are in the whole universe. There is only one reality. There is no distinction at all. These differences, if we penetratively take a look at them, we can see that they are not real. They come and go. They are in continuous flux. Therefore, they are not the reality. The reality is one existence, one without second, and I am that. It is therefore seeing the truth. When you see the truth, then naturally, therefore, what will happen? The automatic outcome of it. When this truth is seen, that I am not confined in one body. To be confined in one body, it is bondage. It is not truth really? Am I confined in one body? The wrong understanding that we have makes us feel as if there is one I here and another I there. But the difference is really only in bodies, not in the I consciousness. The I is same in all of these. There is no separate I, friends. This is where our illusion that I here and I there differs has to go away, because that is an illusion. The I is not different, just as the ocean in one wave is not different from ocean in the other wave. The beautiful illustration that we were considering this morning at the Bhagavad Gita class in Connecticut is like this, that just as one sun illumines everyone, not that the sun that illumines me is different from the other person on whom his light is shining. Sun's light, she shines on everyone. So I am reflecting that very light. My friend is also reflecting that very light. Not only that, my enemy is also reflecting that very light. So the I that one feels is really same in all bodies. This, friends, is the truth. The truth, when we realize this, thinking of it is a step to realize it. That let us go a step further, that let me meditate on it. Thinking becomes, it graduates into meditation. Intense thinking, when it becomes intense, then it becomes concentrated and it becomes meditation. Who am I? Who am I? Let a thought be given to this. Who am I? And when you pay attention to this, one comes to realize that, am I this body? Well, yes and no. Sometimes I feel like I am the body. Then when body goes somewhere, I say I go somewhere. I say I come to Vedanta Society. Actually the body has travelled and is sitting in Vedanta Society. I say I go there. I identify myself with body. But is it always the case? No, it is not always the case. When you say, for example, I am sad, is the body sad? It is not question of body there. Body is fine, no problem there. But we are referring to something else as I. When we are seeing the dream, the body is lying on the bed, nothing is happening to it. But then you are moving all over, doing many things. So who are you then? Then you are not body. It is when we say that I think or I feel, we don't refer to body, we are referring to the thought world. So who am I? When we go deeper, then the layers and layers of who am I really start opening up. Sometimes it is like analogous to peeling the onion, that analogy Sri Ramakrishna gives. It is also found in Plotinus, one of the early philosophers, last amongst the Greek philosophers' tradition, Plotinus. So Plotinus also gives this analogy, peeling the onion. you go analyze what is real onion, you see that it is outside, it is skin, it is not really the onion. So you peel it out. Then you see another that little thicker skin. But you feel that, well, that is also not real onion, let me peel it off too. You peel that. Then again there is another thing, you feel, is it really onion? You see that it has also layers. So the real onion must be inside it, till you end up in having nothing. So it is because you go on peeling. So if you keep on peeling, who am I? Just start thinking, just as the shirt that you are putting on. Are you the shirt? No, I can take it off, I can put it on, I can change it. Yeah, it is, I am not the shirt, for sure. Then the body is just an inner shirt, is it not? It is this shirt made of skin, and then that's it. So it has locomotion associated with it, and it can, some sound mechanism is also put in it. But am I really that? That also is like skin, the skin of the onion. So let me take that off. In thought, just think that yes, it is not easy to peel the body like the peeling the onion, and that is not what is meant also. It is analysis that I am not the body. And as you go towards truth, you see, you become more and more free. Think of it, if you are the shirt, what a terrible bondage. Think of it. If I am shirt, what a big bondage I have. I have to be always this, and it gets torn. It is, if I want to change it, I cannot, because I am that shirt. So it is much worse bondage. But when you know that I am not that shirt, I can put it on, take it off. Now I get a sense of freedom from the clothings, that I am not these clothings. Now the next layer, which is difficult, friends, but we have to take up the difficult challenges if we want freedom. See, for political freedom, how many challenges people have taken up. This is a challenge. Yes, I am not the body. Just imagine that you have, like shirt, you have taken off your body and have put it in the closet on a hanger. Imagine, think of it. It is a very good imagination, friends, that come on, I have taken my body and put it in the closet. I can put it on again when I need. So it is now, just see now who you are, and you immediately see that level of freedom now. Now being freed from body, you are freed from all bondages related to age. That I am getting old, and or I am too young, I am too old. All those bondages, all those restrictions because of the age, they are all gone. It is, sometimes you feel that it is getting old is the problem, that is the bondage. That is not so. For children, it is being too young, that becomes the bondage. It is these grown-up people, they can do so many things. I am too young, cannot. One girl that I met some time back, she was so upset that she is only 14 and therefore cannot drive. She said, this is all ridiculous, that it is all injustice. So she wants to outgrow that 14-year thing. Let me become 15 and a half, and then I can get my learning license and so forth. So the bondage is the bondage of body. Age is a big problem. So it is when you realize that you are not the body, the bondage of age is gone. What a big freedom. Then with that is also gone the bondage of gender and sex, that is also gone. See what a big relief. That I am neither man nor woman, I have no gender, and so all those bondages that come and all that torments that come to a person that because of the gender. Gender now is only with the body. Just as that if I am putting on, say, this ochre clothing, then that ochre is not my color, it is the color of the cloth. It is a property only of the clothing, it is not my property. So also, gender is not my property, it is property of the body alone. So therefore, I had some time back a conversation, long back, and it was a bit humorous that it is, we had an interfaith group and we meet once a month. So there was the question of what, according to your religion, what happens when a person dies, what do you think in your faith, in your tradition? And then the Catholic priest, he said that, well, according to us and according to most all Christians, that it is if you have done good, if you have not sinned too much, then after death you are taken to heaven, and then there you just remain with God. And therefore, he said one reason that we oppose divorce is because then if your spouse and you die, then, and if you are divorced, then in heaven again you will find it difficult to marry, and therefore you are both have to remain both again go and remain married in the heaven also. You are a couple in heaven also. Then I asked him, so do you think that that means in heaven also this gender difference remains? Man and woman and all that in heaven also? He then said, I really can't understand this, but this is what the general belief, that yes, you remain married even in heaven. So it is a problem, of course. Therefore they tell a story, a humorous story, that the man died just before, a little before the wife was dead. So, and he went to he was a very religious person, so went to the heaven's gate, and Peter was standing there guarding the pearly gates. And he said, well, come in, but just a little test that you have to pass. What is it? Just spell the word God. And he said, oh, well, pretty simple, okay. And then Peter said, just I'll be coming in a few minutes. Till then, you please guard this gate. Then you go in later, and just simple, anybody coming, you ask this question, and that's it. He said, okay, pretty simple job. So he was standing there. Somebody came, asked, hey, tell what is the spelling of God. Okay, fine, get in. So he was doing his job faithfully, and he saw his wife coming. And then when she comes, oh, welcome, darling, to heaven. Excellent. So you two have come here. Very good. And yes, you can enter just after answering the question. Question? You want to question me? It is the rule for everyone. Peter told, that you have to, okay, just spelling a word. Spell Czechoslovakia. So, that's it, you say. So, when you know that you are not body, this bondage falls off, you say. The bondage of age, the bondage of gender, the bondage of sex, it all vanishes. What a big freedom, just by this opening one layer that I am not body, you come to this great understanding. You also become free from the financial bondages, because it is the body that requires money and so forth. It is that bondage also is gone when you know that you are not body. And this is knowing truth really. I am not body. Then the next step, am I my thoughts then? Am I what is called mind? You can see that also is changing. That also is something that you can see. You see your thoughts, not by these eyes, but at the thought level you see that they are before you. You are observing, as it were, what is happening in your mind. It is that is how people say that let me tell you what is in my mind. As if they are observing it, they are seeing it. So that is being seen. And so you are not that. The knower is not same as known. So the thoughts, the mind, the emotions, they are not you, because you perceive them. They are perceived and not the perceiver. So you are not mind as well. And thus you become free at the next level, free from all emotions. Look at what tremendous freedom now you get. It is, and as you become, more and more layers are removed, along with freedom, you are seeing more and more equality. When we become free from body, we become free also from the restrictions of space. You cannot go physically, you cannot be everywhere. There is the limitation of space. I can be here, but at the same time, I cannot be in Tanzania. I cannot be in two places like this. But mentally, I can be, at many places. There is no restriction there. So you see that equality also gets more established. The restrictions of space, they get removed. So at the level of space, you see that equality. It is, yes, I am everywhere. With body, I am limited in one place. But if I am not body, I am here, there, I am everywhere. Then, when we see that I am not mind or thoughts, it brings a deeper layer of equality, and therefore a much more stronger sense of freedom too. You are not restricted by this idea of space and time. You become free from that also. Thus you come to the core of who am I. Then who am I? What causes distinctions between, say, I and John sitting here? Our bodies are different, our thoughts are different. But if I am neither my thoughts or emotions, I am not also my body, then what is that separates us? There is no two then. When we say two, A and B, we have to show at least one characteristic at least one quality which is in A and not in B, or in B and not in A. If you cannot show anything different, then it is one and the same. That is how Vedanta comes to this great conclusion, friends, that I is same in all bodies. And now you are free when you know this truth. This is truth. And what it makes you? It makes you free. You become free. And just as now by knowing everything, your one hand does not restrict your other hand. It is, do you complain that my left hand is trying to control my right hand? No, because you have that sense of oneness in both. Then when we see that one in all forms, then is there a bondage now? There is no sense of bondage. And therefore, when we see that identity, we become free. I was very much impressed by that passage in the Gospel of John, where it is mentioned this idea that it is on the Olive Mountain that conversation was going on, and there were many who wanted to challenge Jesus. They had come there, and Jesus tells them, this is 8:26, I have many things to say and to judge concerning you, but he who sent me is true, and I speak to the world those things which I heard from him. The source, the reality, the God, that is what is being meant by he there. They did not understand that he spoke to them of the Father. Then Jesus said to them, when you lift up the Son of Man, then you will know that I am he. Just the same process you have to do. Lift. Each of us is son or daughter of a man. Just lift ourselves up to that level, he. Then we see that I am he. I am divine. I am that all-pervading divinity. When we lift ourselves to that, then what? Then I do nothing of myself, but as my Father taught me, I speak those things. And he who sent me is with me. The Father has not left me alone. We are never alone. God is always with us. You may say, where? I don't see. No, right within you. That God is observing through your eyes, breathing through your nostrils, thinking through your mind. Although the eyes do not know that, the nostrils don't know that, our mind doesn't know that, but it is actually that divine presence that is with us all the time, our constant companion. The result of this that we can never get rid of the thought of God completely. Even if we want to say that God does not exist, first we utter the word God and then say does not exist. So it is impossible to get rid of this idea of God, because that is, we are stuck with it. God is with us. Even for atheists, there is no choice really. They may reject God, but God is with them all the time too. So, I always do those things that please Him. As He spoke these words, many believed in Him. Because He was speaking from that experience and conviction. So people believed Him. And then Jesus said to those Jews who believed Him, if you abide in my word, you are my disciples indeed, and you shall know the truth, and truth shall make you free. What a great idea, friends. If you follow me, that means follow a person who has this truth. It is obviously Jesus here doesn't mean just one piece of flesh and blood that you have to follow, but here is an ideal manifest. Follow that ideal. As you follow that ideal, if it is like this, obvious, is it not? If say Charles is going in to one place and I decided to follow him, then where shall I reach? Where Charles reaches, I will reach there. So if we follow Jesus, where shall we end up? Where Jesus ends up. That is where our awareness and Jesus' awareness become one. Like Jesus, we will also say, I am He, I am the Divine. It is in ignorance, not knowing the truth, that we say, I am this body, this heap of flesh and blood. I am, this is my father, this is my mother, this is my this and this is my this. They are statements only having some relative value. That's it. Really, it is, I am that divine. I am all-pervading reality, free of any bondage. I am freedom itself. And thus, knowing this truth, it is then just a tautology. It is just an automatic corollary that knowing truth, the truth shall make us free. Thank you very much, friends.